Hello everyone, welcome to Lukman IS. Today we are going to have the Hindu analysis of 8th May 2021. So let us see which are the important articles in today's The Hindu newspaper. Yes, these are the articles, largely they relate to our mains examination along with some COVID-19 related developments. Yes, last point you can remove here, largely they are related to our mains as well as prelims examination. So let us take overview of all these articles. First, the big leaf of patent protection has to drop. So the context of the article, again it is talking about the patent protection under TRIPS agreement of WTO that is given to different products and processes. Here the context is regarding the vaccine development by developed by various companies, and they have let's say registered their patents for those products as well as processes. Along with that, the drugs which are very important for COVID-19 treatment. Okay, so many countries including India, South Africa, these countries are struggling to deal with this COVID-19 pandemic, and they want relaxation in these TRIPS rules under TRIPS agreement regarding the patent protection. Okay, so what are various arguments, counter arguments for waiver for patent protection? We will discuss here from GS3 paper. IPR, intellectual property rights, is the topic, syllabus topic in GS3 paper. Along with that, international relations, GS2 paper. Then the rent issues as ignored COVID stress point. So here, along with let's say income problem and let's say food distribution and the stress we are facing, especially in urban areas, the urban poor people are facing the rent problem also, that is ignored by the government in first wave, during first wave of pandemic, as well as now the ongoing second wave of pandemic. So from social justice perspective, especially focusing on urban poor people, how they are facing problems in dealing with this COVID-19 situation in urban areas, especially for rent issues, the article is discussing this problem. Next, CJI nominates 4 vacation bench. So yes, we know that May and June is summer vacation time for let's say Supreme Court. Generally the Supreme Court has the vacation or holidays. However, now the present situation of COVID-19 pandemic that the country is facing, and to deal with the urgent matters of public importance, to hear those cases or petitions, now CJI nominated the vacation benches. Those will be working during this vacation time period of May and June month. Okay, and lastly, some COVID-19 related developments at national level which are relevant to our examination. Fine, let us go into details of all these articles. First, the fig leaf of patent protection has to drop. Yes, earlier also in one of the lecture of the Hindu analysis, we discussed this patent issue of COVID-19 vaccines and drugs in detail. Here some more arguments and counter arguments regarding patent protection and why there is need of waiver to this patent protection. Fine. So basics about the patents. We know that the patents are given to different discoveries or inventions or technology development process as well as goods in different forms, like for example copyrights, trademarks, or a GI tags, geographical indicator tags in India. These are various methods of intellectual property rights protection. Okay, so these are called as let's say IPRs, or we can say they are protected under patent laws of each and every country. Now at international level, these IPRs are protected under TRIPS, Trade Related Intellectual Property Rights Agreement, TRIPS, under WTO. Okay, so this under this particular agreement there are TRIPS rules, and under these rules basically the patents are protected. However, to deal with this COVID-19 situation, we need to have the manufacturing of vaccines and drugs at a mass scale, especially to satisfy the needs of developing countries and underdeveloped countries, medium and low income countries having the largest section of population. And as against to this, whatever the vaccines and drugs have been developed, these companies are based in the developed countries and they are having some kind of capitalistic nature in, let's say, their foundation itself or philosophy, right? So that's why there is conflict. And yes, India along with South Africa had proposed the relaxation to these rules under TRIPS agreement for waiver of patent protection to those technologies needed to develop and manufacture these COVID-19 vaccines as well as the drugs. Okay, and now recently US President has supported such relaxation to the patent protection along with now some European countries like France and Russia. However, some countries like Germany, they have voiced their opposition to this. Along with that, all important pharma companies in Western countries, they have developed vaccines. They are fiercely opposing such kind of waiver, as we can understand that lot of profit is involved there. And yes, surely they have invested some important manpower, human resource or material resource in terms of money, right? And they would surely seek some kind of profit or royalty out of it, right? So we have to understand the present situation. All countries should understand that unless and until each and every person is safe, we are all not safe. Okay, and this is the philosophy that India is also promoting at international level. And this particular relaxation to patent laws, or we can say that the patents especially related to COVID-19 vaccines and drugs, is very important in dealing with the present pandemic situation, especially in lower and middle income countries. Along with that, we have to understand that when only few has the right for production, manufacturing of these drugs and vaccine, then there is always less scope for equitable distribution and access to these vaccines and drugs. Okay, and that's why we have to understand that there is no assurance of equity in access to the products as well as at affordable costs. Okay, so this is the problem when there are patent protections, especially those drugs and vaccines. Now, what are the arguments for patent protections? Generally, patent protection or patent laws are justified on various arguments, and most important argument, we can understand that yes, whatever the input cost that company is investing, along with that the human resource, efforts, hard work, they are let's say investing in that. At the same time, the intelligence they are putting in developing that product or process. So for that matter, it is let's say required that that product or process should be patented in his name, so that in future he can, or that company can reap benefits out of it. Along with that, unless and until there is, let's say, the end that is kept in mind by these companies, that there will be future profits out of these products or processes, they will not invest the human resource, intelligence as well as money in those processes, development of those processes or products. Along with that, the moral argument we can put in here, the moral argument that whatever the person is toiling for development of that product, technology or invention, process, that efforts, that hard work cannot be separated from that product and process. Okay, so this is how the patent protection is justified, and in this particular case some additional, let's say, justifications or reasons, like only some laboratories have capacity to produce vaccines of assured quality and safety, and it would be hazardous to permit manufacturers in low and middle income countries to deal with such technologies which they do not have the we can say proficiency, right? So they are not, let's say, having such kind of quality and safety environment. Along with that, these manufacturing companies are not aware or about the know-how, we can say that. Okay, so this is one argument. A breach in patent barricade will allow China to steal their technologies now and in the future. This is also the argument put forward by these, let's say, some of the companies, pharma companies in Western countries. Then the perennial argument offered for defending patent protection is that innovation and investment by industry needs to be financially rewarded to incentivize them to develop new products. Just now we talked about this. However, the writer is also providing counter arguments to these arguments. And what are these counter arguments to these arguments? First and foremost is that the low labor cost in low income and middle income countries, they provide the avenues. It is so attractive that the confidence in quality and safety of their products is high, so long as patents and profits are protected. Yes, we have seen that in last few decades, multinational companies, pharma companies, they are actually basing their manufacturing, let's say, companies in developing countries, as we can understand that the labor cost is low, and because of that the output, or let's say the product cost also decreases, and therefore the profits are more. Therefore, the profits are more, and that's why we can understand that India has become the pharmacy in the world. This is also one of the factor, right? So, low labor cost. Along with that, we can understand that India's patent laws are not that much strict. Okay, second argument here provided, original genomic sequence was openly shared by China, and which gave these firms, especially pharma companies of Western world, head start in developing vaccines. Basically, these vaccines are developed, or we can say they started developing these vaccines when they get to know about this virus, and this knowledge about virus was shared by China openly. Though it was delayed, it was criticized for such delay, but later on it was shared by China. Then why this particular argument put forward that the China will know about these technologies and that will be used by China in future? Already China has shared all the genomic sequences of the virus at the start itself. Along with that, much of the foundational science that built the path for vaccine production came from public funded universities and research institutions. For example, almost 97% of the funding for, let's say, AstraZeneca vaccine development was by UK government, along with some of the philanthropists and crowdfunding, we can say that. So, this argument is also failing here. And lastly, even if compulsory licenses are issued bypassing patent restrictions by the countries, royalties are paid to the original innovators and patent holders. So, that means even there is relaxation, they will be receiving royalties out of production of these vaccines and drugs, though we can understand that they will not be able to garner huge profits in this particular case. So, these are the counter arguments. You need to know about these counter arguments because this is very important. Okay, so whatever the conflict that is going on at present in the world, in among the some of the countries regarding this proposal, some countries are supporting the relaxation, some countries are opposing, some pharma companies are opposing for that. So, that's why you need to be aware about arguments and counter arguments. So, what can be the way forward here? Efficiency and safety of their products can be assessed. That means which products? We are talking about those manufactured in low and middle income countries and the manufacturing companies in these countries. Their products can be assessed by credible regulatory agencies and WHO also, World Health Organization. So, this will act as a check especially for efficacy and safety of these products. Along with that, developing countries must take hard from the gesture and start issuing the compulsory licenses. Gesture of US is supporting, that is good thing. Ultimately the countries should start issuing compulsory licenses, and they have such provision in Doha Declaration on TRIPS, wherein there are some flexibilities which permit their use in public health emergency situation. And yes, we are at present facing such emergency situation, so they can issue such compulsory licenses, especially for manufacturing of these vaccines. Along with that, the high income countries have responsibility, along with multilateral agencies, they have responsibility to provide financial and technical support to enable expansion of global production capacities of vaccines as well as drugs to deal with this COVID-19 situation. Okay, so this is how you can also write the way forward. So whole issue is discussed in one particular article. This is a very good article. We can surely expect question in GS3 as well as GS2 paper. Vaccine diplomacy, it is part of vaccine diplomacy. We can expect such kind of question in GS2 paper, international relations. Along with that, GS3 IPR, intellectual property rights. Now yes, what kind of question can be framed here? Discuss the issues involved in waiver to patent protection to the technologies related to COVID-19 drugs and vaccine manufacturing. Okay, so yes, the different framing can be done. It can involve the TRIPS agreement, WTO. You need to know about the basics, 1995 agreement, and what are the rules there in that particular TRIPS agreement. Okay, so yes, this particular issue is very important for mains examination. Next, rent issues as an ignored COVID-19 stress point. So article from perspective of society, social justice, even some ethical aspects are involved here. So let us try to understand them. So the urban poor people, especially the migrant people, they have settled in urban areas for quite a time now, and whole families are living there. For example, some people are involved in the construction, let's say sector, some people are involved in petty businesses, small, let's say vendors, or we can say that domestic workers also, right? So these people, they are facing a different kind of problem in urban areas. We can understand that urban areas, there is always high rent to be paid, and that's why the urban areas are not having, let's say, feasible, affordable rental housing. This is the problem, we can understand that. However, during pandemic times, what happened is there is loss of income. There is loss of income. At the same time, because of loss of income, there is problem in three major things. Okay, three major things. First, there is lack of income for health security. Okay, so that means whatever the present health emergency that we are facing, suppose the person is getting infected for COVID-19, and for the treatment, we know that the cost of treatment is very high. So how that cost of treatment that person or that family is going to fulfill? Second aspect we have to understand is the food. Okay, so yes, the government, state governments and the central government has come up with this, let's say, free distribution of food grains of 5 kg per head. So yes, Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, this is going on. So that, let's say, satisfies the food angle. However, the third angle is very important, and that is rent. So whatever the expenditure that household is having, the large chunk of that expenditure by these urban poor families, that goes to rent. Okay, and now when the income is falling or almost negligible, how they are going to pay rent? This is the problem, and that is completely ignored by the policy makers. State government, central government is not focusing on this issue. Okay, so article is providing some very good facts, data. Yes, before that, the argument here, rent anchors the lives workers have built. It must be seen as key part of the urban social safety net. as critical as food and wages. This is the argument. Now, how the argument is being analyzed here. For example, some supporting facts. Survey of 500 domestic workers in Jaipur city of Rajasthan. It said that, or the outcome here, it is talking about rent formed 40% of their average expenses in the first 5 weeks of the lockdown in 2020, was a majority component of debt post lockdowns, and was key component of the vulnerability of urban workers. You can mention such supporting data to this argument. Along with that, reports by Stranded Workers Action Network. Stranded Workers Action Network. Very good data provided by this network, especially during first wave. We have seen the reverse migration. That reverse migration data is compiled by this network. It showed that fear of rent payments was one of the main reasons cited by migrants in their decisions to leave the cities and walk along highways. So, this was one of the factor, along with other factors like loss of income, or we can say livelihoods or jobs. Along with that, let's say food insecurity, all these factors, health problem, there is a fear of getting infected and fear of even, let's say, dying alone without family. So, these are the other factors. So, yes, rent was one of the let's say major factor here for reverse migration. You can mention these two studies. Now, what were the measures taken by government during the first wave, especially during the pandemic time, lockdown time? On 29th March 2020, the Union Ministry of Home Affairs in an order said, wherever the workers including migrants are living in the rented accommodation, the landlords of those properties shall not demand payment of rent for the period of 1 month. This was the only order issued by Ministry of Home Affairs or central government. So, that means basically this framing of the statement or the order is vague. It did not mention about, let's say, whether that particular payment should be deferred or is not to be paid. Okay, it was vague, offered no relief to the landlords also, along with that unenforceable in the market with no written rent agreements. Okay, so if suppose any landlord is not going to follow this particular order of the government, because what, there is no proof of, let's say, rent agreement also, right? So, that is why it is unenforceable order largely, and offered no relief to landlords. Some of the landlords, yes, are aged people, they have built their property, now the only source of income for them is rent out of those properties. So, they are also facing the problem, right? So, yes, there is no relief to landlords also. Along with that, there was no apparatus to monitor the enforcement of this order. Yes, the administration was so involved in dealing with this pandemic situation, they did not even care about this rent issue that was going on in urban areas. Now, what we have to understand is the impact of this rent issue, or especially when the people are not able to pay rent during the pandemic situation. So, with the pending rent and school fees worsening, with no money coming in, many domestic workers had to borrow from informal money lenders. That means now they are trapped with the high interest rate payment by these informal sources of finance, money lenders, and now they are going to exploit these domestic workers. Along with that, many people borrowed from their employers. Yes, many workers borrowed from their employers on the condition of paying it off with their work over next few months, which meant further paucity of income. That means in few next months there will not be income because they have already taken some amount in advance. This was the situation. Along with that, returning to their villages was not an option to these people who have settled in urban areas for quite a long time. These people, they do not know about the agricultural practices, and that's why they do not have skills, and they will not be able to have sustainable income, jobs in villages, and that's why they do not have this option to go back to villages. So what is the present, let's say, way forward that can be suggested, or solution measures? A moratorium should be announced by the government with clear enforcement mechanism and clear distinction between deferment and rent waivers. Okay. So such moratorium is very important. Along with that, landlords should be offered means to access partial compensation for loss of rent from the government. Okay, so this is how the landlords will voluntarily implement this, and cash transfers by the state government must treat rent on par with food and income support. Yes, some of the state governments, for example in Delhi government is transferring cash to auto rickshaw drivers in urban areas, or those migrant laborers. 5,000 rupees is being provided to them in terms of cash assistance. So that should be linked directly to the rent. Okay, so around 2,000 to 3,000 average rent, let's say that cash can be transferred to these people's account, right? So this is how we have to understand that it is the responsibility of state government. Along with that, states can also aid workers through limited waivers on utility expenses. For example, the electricity bills and penalty charges on non-payment were quite burden on domestic workers. So yes, we can understand that yes, the workers can request the landlord for, let's say, deferment of payment, but what they are facing problem is electricity. So they are not able to pay the electricity bills, and but there will be, let's say, penalties on charge of non-payment of these, let's say, electricity bills. So this should be waived off. There should be some kind of subsidy to these people during such hard times being faced by the people. Okay, so this is how the solution measures. These are actually innovative measures. They are actually implementable, feasible, and that's why you should provide such a way forward. You do not write anything in your answer which is not feasible to implement by the administration, or any vague thing. Try to always write some pinpointed measures whenever you are giving solution. Yes, what kind of question we can expect? Urban safety nets must bring together food, income and rent to protect urban poor during pandemic situation. Examine the statement. Yes, you should be aware about the food security, income security and the rent issue. Just now we discussed about this. Okay, so we can expect surely, because yes, we focused about MG Narega in first, let's say, wave of pandemic, and the allocation in MG Narega especially for rural poor people was there. Because of reverse migration, many migrants migrated to the rural areas, and that's why allocation to MG Narega was increased, and therefore that was fine for rural areas. But the urban poor people, they face these problems, and that's why the safety, social safety net to urban poor should be broadened, should be strengthened in this manner. Fine. So social justice GS2 paper. Next, Chief Justice of India nominates 4 vacation benches. Okay, under let's say Rule 6 of Order 2nd of Supreme Court Rules 2013, the CJI has nominated these 4 benches, especially let's say to deal with those cases of urgent public matter. And yes, we can understand that presently the country is facing the COVID-19 pandemic situation, and therefore many petitions are being filed before Supreme Court. Even Supreme Court benches have taken suo motu cognizance of these issues, and therefore now the present vacation, summer holidays in May and June month are going on, and therefore to deal with this situation, to hear these petitions, there are some, let's say, vacation benches now. These vacation benches will hear the cases in a virtual manner. There will be no physical hearing, and the benches will assemble twice every week on Tuesdays and Fridays. Okay, so for both prelims as well as mains examination, polity part is there, the role played by judiciary, in dealing with this pandemic situation. Okay, so we can expect such kind of question also. At present, the judiciary, both Supreme Court and High Courts of different states, they are being more proactive in, let's say, taking cognizance of the situation along with directing the central and state governments in protecting lives and livelihoods of the people, right. So yes, this is important development in that direction. And COVID-19 related developments at national stage. What are these developments? Supreme Court has underlined the obligation of Union government to comply with the order of supply of 700 metric tons of oxygen to Delhi every day, saying we mean business. So like some strict kind of words are used here. Along with that, pandemic second wave has spread far beyond the worst hit cities, with almost half new cases being reported from rural districts. And the economic activity has taken severe hit. This is the SBI economics researchers said in a particular report. At the same time, research team observed that vaccinations were the primary tool to reduce severity of infections, and India must vaccinate its people on a mission mode. Okay, then India can avoid third COVID-19 wave. This is how the principal scientific advisor to the government of India, K. Vijay Raghavan, has said, stressing that if we take strong measures, the third COVID-19 wave may not happen at all in all places or indeed anywhere. Okay, so this is the viewpoint. Yesterday he also talked about we are surely going to face the third wave. Now he provided this particular argument here that if we take strong measures, we may not face COVID-19 third pandemic wave. Okay, fine. So these are the important developments in COVID-19 situation and important captions and quotations. Yes, from that urban safety, social safety net, rent issues, urban safety nets must bring together food, income, rent, so that no person should be forced to make an impossible choice between roti and makan. You can use such kind of, let's say, words in essay paper. You can use them in even your mains GS1, GS2, society, social justice, and GS4, ethical issues involved in COVID-19 pandemic situation. This is also ethical issue. Okay, so that's why we have to understand the lack of social safety net faced by the urban poor people is one of the important ethical issue, right? So yes, in GS4 paper you can use as conclusion statement. This is very good statement. Okay, so yes, these are the important topics from today's The Hindu newspaper. For further information on editorial discussion classes or ED classes wherein more in-depth analysis and a perspective building is done by Ansari sir and team, you can contact Lukman IAS. Thank you.